Okay, so we're going to do some Zohar for the week this week. And instead of doing the Idris like we have been doing, because this is Erev Shavuos, so I'm going to do a little bit from the Zohar and Parshas Yisro. So if you have the Matuk Medavash Zohar, it's going to be on page 9 of Parshas Yisro. So the Zohar starts like this. Rebbe Elazar Pasuk v'Amar Rebbe Elazar began, and he said like this. He quotes a pasuk in Tehillim, Yadu Chaimim Elokem, Yadu Chaimim Kulam. So I guess a praise to you, or give praise or thanks to you, Hashem. Thanks to you, all the nations. So then Rebbe Elazar goes on and says, Talchazi David Malka Kam v'Shavak v'Oded the Malka Kadisha. So the king David, who was the king, stood up and he gave thanks to the Malka Kadisha, the holy Malka. V'hava mishtad ba'raisa, and he learned in Torah Bahaki Shat at that moment. Kad ruach tzfon nisayir. So the time that he did this, when the ruach, the wind from the north, was awakened, that's when he learned. V'hava batash be'in nimin didigunur, and the wind would strike against the strings of his harp. V'kinura chahava menagein v'amashira, and the harp itself would sing or make music, and it would say a song, sing a song. Which is which and who was what, I'm not sure, 100% sure. Let's look at the Matak Medavash. The Matak, the Vash says, Pasuk Rebbe Shimon, the Farish Masha Kasa, so Rebbe Elazar, rather. There were those who said it was Rebbe Shimon, so here it's in the Zohar, it says Rebbe Elazar. He comes and he wants to explain the pasuk Yodu Chaimim Elokem, Yodu Chaimim Kulam, Pirush Shakal Umos Olam Yoda the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So all will give thanks and praise to the Kodesh Baruch Hu. V'hikdim v'omar. So he comes first and he says like this: Talchazi Ba v'rei David HaMelech. David HaMelech Kam v'shavak v'hoda the Melech HaKodesh Baruch Hu. So he would get up and he would sing praises to Hashem. V'hoya Osek b'Torah b'shas chatzos, and at midnight he would be Osek b'Torah, learning Torah. Sha'az ruach tzfon misora, because that's the time when the north wind is awakened. V'charuach hoya maka b'misrei chakinor, so it would strike on the strings of his harp. V'hoya menagein b'chalav, and it would play by itself. V'omer shira, and it would sing. It would say a song. So then it says, Uma Shira, the Zohar then says, Uma Shira Choya Ka'omar. What is the Shira that it used to sing? Talchaze B'shata the Kudsha Barichu is Ar Lagabe called Inan B'tichin, the Mehabed Lon, Tarpa Kambadul Kimna. So he says, at the moment that all of that the Kudsha Barichu wakens himself up in relationship to all of the different vessels or chariots, the Mehevelon Tarp, in order to give them the food that they need. Kamatul Kimna, as has been explained. They got up while it was still nighttime, Betita and Terek, the base of Behutman Rosaho, and they gave sustenance to their house. Whatever Teref means prey, but it means something that was hunted or brought. The base of Behutman Rosaho and different provisions to the young ones. Kaden kuhu b'chadach v'paschu v'amra. So then all of them in happiness began. They would say, Elokim yochaneinu v'ocheinu, Elokim, you are giving us chen, giving us blessing. Yoir pana v'tano salo, so that you're shining your face on us continuously. Kad ruach tzvon nisayir v'nachir la'alma, so v'nachis la'alma. So when the northern wind wakes itself up and comes down into the world. Nashe v'omar, so it comes and it says v'omar l'das ba'aret darkecha, in order that the world should know your ways. B'kol goyim yushuasecha, and all the nations, your salvation is amongst all the nations. Kine b'shanta de'ihu menagdach be'b'haku rucha. So this harp, when it would be playing music through that wind that would come through, pasav v'omar yaducha me'mekulam. So he said, it would say that, think of thanks to you, all the nations, all of them. So let's see what the Matak B'Devash says on this. The The Matak Vidavash says, like the Vishol, Lama Shira Havaka Omer, Ve'ezer Shira Koya Omer Kinor, what song would it play? Umafarish Tochazi Bishanta the Kujabarichu is Ar the Gabi Kol Inin Betichin the Beheben Lo and Tarfa, come to Kimna. Bava Re Bishasha Kodesh Baruch Hainoch Malchus. Now, what does he say? Now, you have to learn a little sod here. That when Malchus would come, would be awakened. And we read again, when he says Malchus, he means the Malchus of Betzilus. We're talking about the Pneumius of the door that opens up to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. When this Malchus Mizareres, Bechatzos Laila, when it would wake up at midnight, the says Terev from Mazan, L'kol Merkavas of Malachim, into all the chariots of the angels, L'kol Tachtoinim, in all the lower worlds. Call Echa ve'echa kavitzarko, each one according to what it needed. Kamosha Gavar Ba'ara, like we've already said, the Chsiv Takom, that it says it got up. A Malchus B'nefilas B'nefilasa Sha'ad Chatzos, then the Malchus, as it's falling, it keeps falling, it's falling into darkness and greater darkness until Chatzos. Ba'od Laila B'zman Shemishtanach B'Bisham Lail Shuhud Sad Din, the Sham Laila Shuhud Sad Rachamim behind B'Chatzos. So Laila, he says he wants to save that from darkness. So there's two words. One word is Lail, and the other word is Laila. So they're basically very similar words. The Lail refers to the time of darkness before Chatzos, where everything is falling into Din. That's what the Matak Vidavash says. But Laila is a different time. Is when Din starts to be blended with kindness. It's a very special, beautiful time. And then the rest of the pasuk would be V'tita and Terech Lebeso, to give sustenance to her house. V'tita and Mazon the Shochne Besa, for those who dwell in her house. Shehem HaMalachim HaYosek HaRobim Malach, which of them are Malachim. Now, what is a Malach? A Malach is an agent of transmission. So those that are closest from one Malach to the next, like a relay team, that would give the sustenance to those that were closest to this Malchus. V'choknan rasecho, v'gam noisneim lechem chukam, la'osam and na'aros ha'ru'uyas l'seis l'am bebeis ha'melech. So he also, to those, he says na'aros, which are young women that are fit to be able to give to them from the house that live in the house of the king. What are they? Shehem ha'merkavos shebe'olamos bia, which are also the chariots that are not in Itzilus, but the chariots that are in the rest of the worlds of Bia, Bria, Yitzira, and Asiyah. Then kulchu b'chadach b'paschu v'amros. Then all of them calls kula b'simcha poschim b'oimnim. They're all in simcha. They begin and they sing Elokim Yochaneinu Yivarchenu Hamalchus Ta'asi Imanu Chaninech Yizbarach V'Osana B'Shefa Mazon. And Hashem gives us chen. He gives us out of his kindness. V'Tibarach Osana, and blesses us. B'Shefa Mazon, with the shefa of his sustenance. Now, Mazon, he means food, but it doesn't mean this kind of food, the kind of food that's a kind of food that the souls need. Yoyer Pana Vitano Sala, V'His made, or V'Tas made, or Panacho Iman Tamed. It continues to shine your face, the face which is the concept of kindness on us always. Kad ruach tzafon yisayir v'nachas la'ama v'nashi v'amar. So when kasharuach tzafon, that when the northern wind, misora, becomes awakened, v'yored la'olam hu menashe v'amar. So it settles and it says like this: the das ba'ara tarkecho v'gol goyim yushuatzecho shakulim yadu darkecho. They all know your ways. The v'kol goyim yadu yushuatzecho, and all the nations of the world know your salvation. Kinor, so the harp. B'shata de'ihu menagna, be'ebe b'haku rucha. So when that kinor is beginning to do its own music as a result of the wind that's blowing through it, kinor b'shashu menagin bekoich osa haruach pasach v'omer yoduch amim kulam. It begins and it says, rest of the pasuk, it says yoduch amim, let all of the nations give you praise. Yoduch amim kulam. All of them will give you praise. Let's go on. The Zohar says, David, kadhava kan v'yis'ara alei ruach kudsha. So when he got up, it was awakened by him a ruach of the Kodesh. Pasuk v'ama eretz nasi yavula. He began and he said this pasuk: The land gave its produce. Yuvarchenu Elokim Elokeinu. So you bless us, Elokim. Elokim is Lashon Din. Elokeinu, our God. Yuvarchenu Elokim B'yu also calls Aretz, and then all of the would bless Elokim should bless. V'yira also call Amsa Aretz, and which see you. I'm not sure what Yiro means here. Maybe it means to fear. I'm not sure. Call Amsa Aretz. We're going to see in a minute. All the ends of the earth begin in order to be able to give goodness of the Kudsha Barichu from the up above to down below to all those things which are closer to Tzilos, and those things are farther away. The Basar also David Baruch Kudsha B'Sadech B'Lon Kachado. So then after that, David would come in his Ruach Kodesh, and he would organize all of these songs into one. And he would look at all of them through the words that are coming out of this harp. The shlimach, the yakara, the kudsha barichu, eila rebetata, with all the perfection that the Kodesh Baruch Hu would give from up above and down below. Betata deshar amen is kafyin v'asiyach v'chodara the kudsha barichu. So when the arrogant nations of the world humble themselves and give praise and bow before Kudsha Barichu, is kafian v'oden. So once they become humbled and they admit to him or they give thanks to him, then ishtalim yakol the Kudsha Barichu ila betata. When that happens, when the lowest elements of the world give thanks, then Hashem becomes completed up in upper worlds and the lower worlds. Now I'll just try to read the light print in the Matak Midavash. The Matak Midavash says, David Geshakam B'chatzos Laila V'nisorer Olav of Ruach HaKodesh, so he's wakened by the Ruach of Kodesh. He says, Eretz he kinoi lamalchus. So when the pasuk says, V'amar Eretz nasta yevula, when it says the earth gives its bounty or its produce, he says Eretz is another word for Malchus. Malchus is the bottom. V'yuvula who sowed Haman. What was a Yuvula? Yuvula is the concept of man, which we call in Kabbalah is called Mayim Dukrin, which is the desire, the needs. So how do we bring up to these things? They bring up through our good deeds. The good things we do produce man. Over Al Yadei Shehi knows Senes of Ma'ala as Yivula the Zah, so as Malchus brings up her produce, which is her man, her Mayim Nukvin, all the good things that she does in trying to come closer to Hashem, as she does it, Mala as Yivula the Zah, Ki Makabelas as a Shefa. So this is like a round robin, which we've said before. Is that man goes up, then another concept is man called Mayim Duchrin comes back down. And from that Mad, which is coming back down, is a result of bringing up all of the good deeds that we do in this low world. Then we get a blessing from Elokim, who is our God. Shuhu HaMalchus, and again he means in this case that this refers to the Malchus of Atzilus. Yivarcheinu Elokeinu says in that prosek there, Yivarcheinu Elokim al ki Yivarcheinu Elokim, because on the fact that we get a blessing from Elokim, Lezev Yira Osacho B'Kol Za'aret Yifchad, and there will be pachad, and all of then they see the blessings that the Jewish people have, which is happening, of course, now. So that all of those who dwell will be frightened. All of the people that dwell at the ends of the earth, all over the world. Birosam shuhu mashgich meshiv gomel, when he sees that Hashem is looking over and supervising and giving reward. Before Sha'amar ki begin la'amshko tiva de kujabarichu me'ela the tata. So that phrase, kadei lahamshe chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu barakasa, in order to bring down the kindness of Hashem and His blessing, melamala meriyisod, which comes out of the yisod. Hanikra Tov Lamata Ela Malchus, and this is the process of the Yisod making a yichud with Malchus, and as a result of that, Malchus is full. Achar Kach Ba David, so then that's what happens, that's the process. Achar Kach Ba David, the Veruach HaKodesh Sida Al Ashirim, so then David the Melech comes and he organizes all the song and Nizkarim, Ke'echad B'mizbach B'zen Shal Elokim Yechaneda Bochena Ad Tumo. So that whole bracha, that whole Tillim, which starts with it, which has the concept of Yivarchenu Elokim, like that, he put it all together. So then he started looking deeply into this song. Specifically this particular pasuk that the Kinor said, which is the concept of giving praise to you, Hashem. As we praise God, is greater than everything else. Because what is it? It's teaching us. It's teaching us about the completion of the perfection of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Lamala Lamata, from down below, which is where we are in bringing our praise, to up above. Excuse me, Kodesh Baruch Hu, Lamala Lamata, from up above down below to us. But when the Kedusha spreads to such a point that all of the Goyim are humbled by it, and then they admit and they give thanks to Kodesh Baruch Hu. So when they are humbled down and they give thanks to Him, Az Nishlam Kavodo Shal Kodesh Baruch Hu, then the honor and the glory of Hashem Kodesh Baruch Hu is completed. Lamala Lamata, up above and down below. So we're gonna start slightly different. But B'shata, now we come to Parshas Yisrael, a little bit better. B'shata the Asa Moshe, from the time that Moshe came, the Paro, B'amalei Havaya Elokei Ha'ivrim Nikra Oleinu. So he says these three words: Havaya, Elokem, Elokei Ha'ivrim, rather. Nikra Oleinu is calling out to us. Pasuk, I don't know this name Havaya. Maybe Elokem he knew, but he didn't know Havaya. So Hashem began that he wanted to show his glory in the lower worlds in the same way that he had shown it in the upper worlds, as it exists in its pure form, which is its achdus in the upper worlds. So once he struck Paro and his people. So then Paro came and he gave thanks. He admitted that there is a Kudsha Barichu. Avaya Tzaddik, because he said Avaya is the Tzaddik. So he has this word Krupinus. So this is the highest, the king of all the kings of the peoples of the world. The call almost, so he's the Korpinus of all the world. Then says, since he admitted and since he bowed down before Hashem and he was humbled and he said, who is the real king? Then all the nations of the world did the same thing. And then we have this pasuk, then we're trembling, all the kings of Edom. Let's see what the Matak B'Devash says of this. We're now on page Yud Aleph. So he says, B'shata the Asa Moshe L'Paro, B'shah Sheba Moshe L'Paro, Shatishlach as Yisrael v'Yechogu li b'midbar. The rest of the pasuk is that he should send out the Jewish people and they should have a holiday for me in the desert. V'gam as Yisrael b'loch eshlach. So that we see he says, "O pasuk ihu v'amar lo yudati es Hashem." He says that I don't know Hashem, and I'm not sending these Jewish people out. So he said, "V'ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu yiskaved shemo be'eretz." So he wanted to glorify his name in the earth. Kamoshahu mekubad lamala. So he is naturally as mekubad in his throne in the world of Atzilus. So therefore he hid him in order to be able to struck the Paro and his people in order to humble them. So since he struck them, he humbled them. So then he said, and he admitted, and he gave thanks to Hashem. And then he admitted, and he gave thanks to the oneness of Hashem Yisbarach. That he was the king of the Most High of all of the people of the earth. Gadlu Kadei Shado Yihya Herpa, the Yisrael the Hishtaved Tachas Bezuya. So what Hashem, he says he elevated Paro and he made him the most powerful king because the Jewish people were going to be enslaved. We shouldn't be enslaved to some common ordinary people living in the backwoods of someplace that nobody knew about. So Kevin Shuhu Choder the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So since he gave praise to Kodesh Baruch Hu, Gam Kol Shar HaMalachim Hododo, so all the rest of the kings, the under kings, they all gave praise to him as well. Shekulam Nichnu Livnei HaKedusha, because they all were bent down before the Kedusha. V'Hodosh HaKodesh Baruch Hu Levadu Shalei Ba'olam, and they all admitted, and they all gave thanks, and they all said that HaKodesh Baruch Hu is the only ruler of the world. Asa Yisrael, then Yisrael came. Kumre Ravava, he was the upper priest of Avodah Zarah, the greatest one, the high priest. Rav B'mana, the Kol Taven Achronim, so he was the Rav, the greatest one. He was appointed on all of the. Here's the word that he uses for Avodah Zarah. He calls Tavavan. So Tavavan is like the word Tivus, like lusts and things like that. So all of the Tavavan Achronim, all of the other, he was the priest, the high priest of all the idolaters, of all the other priests who were idolaters. And he came and he admitted before the Kodesh Baruch Hu and gave thanks to him. Now I know that the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is greater than any other power that exists in the universe. And then this stalak the Visyaker Kudra Berichu Bikari Lo Batatoi. So then Hashem left, Hashem went up, and he was glorified in the Kudra Berichu with the glory above and down below. So then he gave the Torah in its perfection, the Shultana, which is the rules over everything, Al Kola. So let's see what he says. So after that, Asa Yisro Kumrach Law of Ravava. So then came Yisro. But Yisro Shehi Komer Chashav V'Gadol. He's a tremendously important priest. Rabbi Banda the Kol Tavan Achronim. V'Rosh HaMamuna. So he is the head. HaMamonim I'll call Elokim Acherim. So he was Elohim Acherim. He is the appointed of all the other gods, the false gods. And he gave praise to HaKodesh Baruch Hu. He bowed and humbled himself before him. Oznis Alav and this Kaved HaKodesh Baruch Hu B'Kavoda the Malav Lamata. Then the tremendous glory was placed upon the Kodesh Baruch Hu in the upper worlds where he resides, and the lower worlds down here where it is, which are so thick. V'acher kach nasan es hatera b'shlemus. So then he gave the Torah with its complexion, with its completeness, in its ultimate perfection, which has really rulership over everything that goes on in this world. Because all the outside forces, those things which do not cling to Kedusha, all of them are humbled, are bent down as a result of this Kedusha. So it goes like this. Amar Rebbe Shimon. So Rebbe Shimon said the Rebbe Elazar Berei to Rebbe Elazar his son. Al Dachasiv on this is the pasuk says like Yaduchaimim Elohim Yaduchaimim Kulam. That's why the pasuk says this. That all of the Yaduchaimim Elohim, that the people will all praise you. Asa Rebbe Elazar ben Nashuk Yadoi. So Rebbe Elazar came and he kissed his hand. Bacha Rebbe Abba so Rebbe Elazar cried and he said, Karachem Av Alabanim, so as the mercy for a father on his children. Man Yerachem Al Rebbe Elazar the Ashlamo Milui. So who will have this mercy on Rebbe Elazar in order to be able to complete his words? Ki Rechiba Demar, Bagabar Mechi Rechiba Demar. Who else could do this other than the love of his father? Zakol Huloko, the Zachein, the Mishmecha Babilin Elikame, so happy or meritorious is that portion that it merits to be able to hear these words in front of him, and have these words said in front of him. The Lo Nichsav B'Hul Amud, the Ase, that he shouldn't be humbled or shamed in the next world. Let's see what he says. What was he talking about? So he says in the phrase, I'm a Rebbe Shimon, the Rebbe Olazav Arei, Al Dal Chesiv Yadu Chaimem Elohim, Amim Elohim, Elohim, I don't know. Kisha Yadudu Amim Shehem Elohim Chaim, the Elohim, Chaim Hashirim El Yonim. So let's try to get this word Elohim worked out. I'm sorry. Pirish is admits before you and gives thanks before you the nations. And the main nations, which he means is this word Elokim. So when he says Elohim, so it's not Elokim, it's Elohim, referring to the gods of the Goyim, which are the upper, what does he refer to them? They are the upper princes. What does he mean by that? Because there are powers, like the planets. Each of the planet is a channel for power that's actually coming from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, which is not recognized by the Goyim. The Goyim don't recognize the Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's part of what he's saying here. They don't recognize Avaya, who is control of everything and created and benimi to everything. They only realize that the alignment of planets has power in it. So they look at the planets and think the planets are power, like the sun and the moon. So those sarim which are up above, or those forces which are up above, that were created by Kodesh Baruch Hu. So here now comes the people, the common people, that is the kings and so on and so forth, and all their people. They admit and they bow down before Hashem. Because of it says Bekan Sarakli gross Divrei Hazoyer, a move of the Ale Daf. So apparently there's another Zohar over there. Pasav Amar Yaduch Mem. So he says this is another Zohar he's quoting. V'hainu Divrei Rebbe Shimon v'lo kamo shehigihu Rebbe Elazar pasuk v'amar. So it's Rebbe Shimon saying all this. I don't know. Became because of a Gra. The Gra also agrees that that's where it should be. Let's go on. So his also Rebbe Elazar v'nashek yado. So Rebbe Elazar came and he kissed Rebbe Shimon's hand. But Rebbe Elazar v'nashek yidei aviv lahodos lo al shehishlim as devolov. So that Rebbe Shimon came and he completed the words that Rebbe Elazar was trying to say. So there Rebbe Elazar came and kissed his hands. Rebbe Shimon barach al beno hishlim as devolov, that he had such love for his son that he completed what he was about to say. That we're saying. Mi Yerachem, so he says, Man Yerachem al Rebbe Elazar d'Ashlam Amilui Bar Rechiba Demar. Who should have Rachmanis or kindness and give the kindness al Rebbe Elazar l'Hashlim as the V'Chutz Ma'avaso shall Mar Alav, so that the master himself should come and complete his words. So Zalgachul Chulkona. The Zakein of the Mishbech of Babilin Elikamei Ashrei Chalkenu Shazakina the Shmoa. So happy is our portion. Shazakina, that we married to hear these tremendous words Eli Lefnei Rebbe Shimon that were said before Rebbe Shimon. So then he completes Shalom is Bayish Bechem the Olam Haba, so that we never be ashamed of them in the next world. Cause of Ramaz, so the Ramaz writes in that nearly, Shemekan Tshuva Nitzaches Lemi She'ena Ma'ayin B'Zohar. So he says that Tshuva works for a person that doesn't really know the Zohar. The Bavada Yichsov the Alma the Asi, that a person who doesn't learn Zohar is going to be embarrassed when he comes to the next world. Let's go on a little bit more. Amar Rebbe Abba, so Rebbe Abba said, Ha Kohen on lo chsiv b'Yisrael. So it doesn't say Kohen on when he says when it talks about Yisrael. Kohen Midian chsiv. It calls him a Kohen from Midian. But Rabbi Elazar says Kula iku chad. It's really one thing. The Kohen on and the Kohen from Midian, it's the same thing. I'm thinking to myself, what does he mean? The Kohen on was said by Yosef. This is a much later date. But God means a chamba de Yosef Cohen or Ikri. So, at the beginning, Chama, because of the father-in-law of Yosef, was called the Cohen On. Ulabasa Chamboy the Moshe Cohen Midian. And after that, when you came to the father-in-law of Moshe, he's called Cohen Midian. Are we talking about the same person? V'kulo Razachada, but all of them are really one secret. Daha Elin Trin Moshe v'Yosef b'darga the Razachada Kaimim, because these two, Moshe and Yosef, they were all in one level of secret, one secret level together. Baraza, the Os Vav, what are they? They're the secret of the letter Vav, but you won't notice that he writes the letter Vav with two Vavs. There's different ways to write the Vav. So people in subclasses learn Vav, Vav Yud Vav, Vav Aleph Vav, Vav Vav. Those are the three different ways of writing the letter Vav. Tren Vav and Kachada. So what do we have? We have two Vav, Vav Vav. Two Vavim like one. Amad the Idmar Kohen Midian. So when it says Kohen Midian, Razadar, this secret, Eishas Midyanim, that this is the wife of Midyanim. Moshe v'Yosef b'Razachada Kaimim Razadar Vav Vav Train Kachada. Okay, let's see what the Matuk Midrash. What are we talking about? So the match is Ata Chozer of Masha Issa the El Shakoin On Shu Yisro Nikna Lifnei Kodesh Bar Kedusha. So now it wants to say that the Kohen Yisro. Let me see what this said. Okay, it didn't say Kohen, no, but maybe not right here. But it said that Yisro. Let me translate. Ata Chozer of Masha Issa the El Shakoin On Shu Yisro. The Kohen On calling him Yisro, and remember that. That's the name that was applied to the father-in-law of Yosef. Nichnef HaKedusha, humbled himself, bowed himself down before Kedusha. V'azeh Amar Rabbi Elazar, Sha'al Rabbi Shimon, so he asked Rabbi Shimon, Ha Kohen On Lo Kasiv B'Yisro. They don't say about Yisro that he's called a Kohen On. Hare Kohen On Lo Kasiv B'Yisro. He's not talking about Yisro. Kohen Midian Kasiv, because we read over there, Kohen Midian. Rak Kohen Midian Kosev Bo, that's the only thing was written by him. Amalei, so he says, Rebbe Shimon, the Rebbe Abba, so Rebbe Shimon then answered to Rebbe Amma, Kula Ihu Chad. That's what he said. He says, all of this is really one thing. Akolhu Echad, it's all one idea. Kishnechem Hem Klipa Achas, they both represent, we use a word instead of Klipa, normally we use the word Kali. So we said that this is one Kali, this is only one Kali. The Hainuch Yisod the Kali. That is, in the Kali, just like there are 10 spheres of Kedusha, and each of the 10 spheres has 10 spheres of Kedusha, and so on and so forth. So the same thing, you have the same thing arranged on the opposite side. This is all the invention of the creation of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. But on the other hand, of evil, you also have a Kali. Asa the Hainuch Yisod the Kali. So this would be the Yisod of Kali, which is the reproductive organ of the male side of the Kali. With the Yosef Cohen on Ikri. So he says that's what the pasuk says at the beginning. He was the father-in-law of Yosef. He was called Cohen on. Yosef Cohen on. Kamasha Kosev Yitin Lo Es Asnas Vat Potifera Cohen on. That's the quote from over there. Levas or Chamboi the Moshe Cohen Midian, and then after that Moshe, his father-in-law, was called the Cohen Midian. Moshe, that's a pasuk, it's a quote. The one of there's only one secret here. Because both of them, the origins of the roots of them, were in the yesod of the false side, the side of falseness. Because they're both found in one secret. The Hainu B'Roz of the Os Vav, the secret of the letter Vav. The Vav is the letter that goes with the body. Vav and another Vav. So Os Vav, the Hainu Trin Vav in Kachada, that is, these two Vavim, they go together. Shnei Vav in Ke'echad, why? Ki Shorsh Nishmas Moshe, because the root of the soul of Moshe, Haim Yisod the Abba. It was in the Sod of Abba. Remember, we learned that before. Abba is another word for Chachma. But Chachma could be divided into different ways. There's a Chachma Eloi and a Chachma Tatah. One is called Abba Eloyin, and the other one is called Yisrael Saba. So mostly we're talking about Yisrael Saba. Depends. Moshe Choyim Yisod, the Abba V'Short Nishmas Yosef Choyim Yisod, the Zah. He was from a different Yisod, the Yisod of Zah. Remember that every sphera, every partzuf rather, has 10 spheros in it. So you could have a Yisod in Abba, you could have a Yisod in Zah. V'kol Yisod Hu Sod Oz Vav. So every time that we talk about the concept of Yisod, the Yisod is a Vav, like the male organ. And since these two are really in one, he calls it one midah, one measurement, or one description, one adjective. So therefore their fathers-in-law, that they were wedded, so to speak, to the other side. They were able to go right up to the other side and pull away from it. So he says, "Kach chosnechem shehoya beklipa acha shali yisod the klipa ma de itmer Cohen Midian," and what it says about the Cohen Midian. Ma shenemer Cohen Midian. Why does it say this? Razada Eishes Midyanim. What's Eishes wives of what's Eishes Midyanim? So he says the wives of Midyanim. Zehu hasod shali yisod the nukva. This is to tell you that the nukva also, the female aspect, which we've talked about before, is the nukva de Zah, that she is his wife. In the physical terms, maybe it's like we could look at Chava, Adam and Chava. The nukva, the kale on Nikras Eishes Midyanim, she is called, that is the yisod of the nukva, of the klipa, is called Eishes Midyanim. The Kohen On, who yisod the dukur, the klipa, so the Kohen On is called the Dukura of the male. So there are two different possibilities. But whatever it is, both of them represent the Yisod. One is possibly the Yisod of the female, one is the Yisod of the male, one is possibly the Yisod of Abba, the other possibly the Yisod of Zah. So we'll come to the last pasuk for today. Aram Yadol Yal Reish Rebbe Abba Vavachos, the Rebbe Elazar, he lifted up his hand on the head of Rebbe Elazar and cried, Amani Hivador Raisa Salka. So he says the light of the Torah has left. Hashda Adrum Rikia Kursi laws, and now it's gone up into the highest part of the firmament of the heavens, the Kursi law, to the upper throne. The boss of the Yistalek Mar, so when Mar, I guess he means Rebbe Shimon. The Rebbe Shimon leaves, Ma'alma, Man Yehira Nehira Daraisa, who is going to shine the light of the Torah? So how a woe for the world, which is going to become an orphan because from you, going to be orphaned from you. But I guess he's saying that that's not going to happen, because the light of this Torah will continue to shine until we come to the time of the Mashiach. Look at that, Kesev, and that time it will be written in this pasuk in Yeshaya, Mala Haaretz Deya. So Das the Das of what's up above, and what to say what Das means. Das up above will come down and shine at Deya, the knowledge of Hashem, of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Let's see the Matak B'Devash. See what he says. Hey Rim Rebbe Abba as Yadav al Rosho V'Bocho. So Rebbe Abba lifted up his hands on his head and he cried. Amani Hirado Raisa Salka Hashta Adrum Rukia the Kursi law. Oma Orha Torah Oila Atara Adroma Rukia Shalakisa Elyon, so it's going up to the highest part of the heaven, to the place of the upper throne. And he says, Achashi Stalak Mar. So when Rebbe Shimon leaves, Mena Oilam, Mi Yair es Orha Torah, who is going to shine the light of his Torah? Of oilam sheyishar yasim b'malch. So woe to the world that's going to be an orphan from you, Rebbe Shimon. But the truth is that the words of Mar, that is Rebbe Shimon, shebesefer bezoyra hakodesh, that if they come out of this sefer Zohar hakodesh, ya'iru ba'olam ad sheyava melech HaMashiach, let them shine into the world until the time comes of the King Mashiach. Ba'oz Kosev, and then it says, Shakal Yisrael Yasigo Yasagos Gedolos, that all of the Jewish people will be able to attain tremendous achievements tremendous reachings of panemias, and coming so tremendously close like we're coming close now in Shavuos. So Sagos Gedolah v'Sodas HaTorah, in the secrets of the Torah, and this will continue on. Amen. King Yiratzon. Let this be a wonderful, wonderful Shavuos for all of us. May we be zeicha to long life and blessings all around as we come out of we see what comes out of the Kinor of David the Melech, the tremendous songs of praise that we have to thank God. Amen.